Hey guys, we're going to get into our math lesson. It's lesson 9.2. We are comparing fractions with the same denominator. Before we begin, I do want to review what is a denominator. We are looking at a fraction right here, 3 over 4th, 4 3/4. Your numerator is always a number on top. It's 3 in this fraction. Your denominator is always a number on the bottom, 4th, all right? So in this lesson, we are talking about how we can compare fractions with the same denominator. Okay, so let's begin.
Hi there. Welcome to the parking lot. And look at these two colorful cars. Click a parking meter to see how long each car has been parked here. This car has been parked for 3/4 hour, and this car has been parked for 1/4 hour. Which car do you think has been parked here for a longer time? I think we can find that out by comparing these fractions. Let's use models to compare fractions with the same denominator. That'll help us answer the question. Come on, let's find out how to do that.
So we're comparing this fraction 3/4 and this fraction 1/4. Okay, and when we compare, that means that we're trying to find out how they are similar or the same, or if they are similar or the same.
Here's a problem about comparing fractions.
You should be with your Go Math book opened up because this is the first unlock the problem on the first page for math. It says Jeremy and Christine.
Let's unlock this problem.
Okay, I was going to read it, but I guess not.
What are the fractions you need to compare? You need to compare 2/6 and 1/6. Let's start by comparing the whole size of each quilt block. All of the squares that make up the quilt block are the same size. How many equal-sized squares are in each quilt block?
Well, before I begin, he keeps interrupting me. I'm going to read it. Jeremy and Christina are making quilt blocks, right? This is one quilt block. This is another quilt block. The blocks are the same size, and both are made of 6 equal squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2/6 of Jeremy's squares are green, 2 out of 6. So I would need to put 2 green. And 1/6 of Christina's squares are green, so I would need to put 1 green. Whose quilt block has more green squares? We need to draw it in to find out. In your Go Math book, if you do not have the color green, just shade it in with your pencil or pen or anything. Not a big deal.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Each block is made of 6 equal-sized squares, so the whole quilt blocks are the same size.
Yep.
You can compare two fractions when they refer to the same whole. How are these two fractions alike?
So, how are they alike? How are they the same and how are they different? I know that they are the same because they are both 6, right? Jeremy's quilt blocks has 6. Christina's quilt block has 6.
They both have a denominator of 6. The denominator is the number below the line in a fraction. Now shade 2 squares, or 2/6 of Jeremy's quilt green.
So we're shading these two because his is 2/6.
Next, shade 1 square, or 1/6 of Christina's quilt green.
And 1.
Now you can compare 2/6 and 1/6. The greater fraction will have the larger amount of the whole shaded. Which fraction is larger?
Which one is larger? I see 2 here and 1 here, so...
Jeremy's quilt block
right.
has the larger amount shaded, so 2/6 is greater than 1/6. So Jeremy's quilt block has more green squares.
There we go. That's how we compare fractions with the same denominator. All right? So we know that Jeremy's has more green than Christina's, and we compared 2/6 to 1/6.
Just as you can compare fractions of equal-sized wholes, you can compare fractions of equal-sized groups. How many buttons are in each group?
How many? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good.
Each group has 4 buttons, so each group is the same size. 3 of Jen's buttons are red. Click to shade 3 of Jen's buttons. 1 of Maggie's buttons is red. Click to shade 1 of Maggie's buttons. What fraction of Jen's buttons are red? 3/4 are
Very
red.
good.
What fraction of Maggie's buttons are red?
1 of 4.
1/4 of Maggie's buttons are red. Each group has the same number of buttons, so you can count the number of red buttons in each group to compare the fractions. Click the boxes to complete the number sentence.
So 1, 4.
As
3.
1 is less than 3, so 1/4 is less than 3/4. So who has a greater fraction of red buttons?
That's right.
Jen has a greater fraction of red buttons. Let's see 2 other ways to compare fractions.
Now we're trying another one.
What fractions are you comparing?
We're comparing 3/8 and 5/8, right? At the craft store, one piece of ribbon is 3/8 of a yard long. Another piece of ribbon is 5/8 of a yard long. Which piece of ribbon is longer?
3/8 and 5/8. 3/8 and 5/8 have the same denominator, 8. When 2 fractions have the same denominator, you can compare them by looking at the numerators. One way to do that is with fraction strips. Fraction strips help you compare the numerators of fractions with the same denominator. Let's use fraction strips to compare 3/8 and 5/8. Shade the top strip to show 3/8.
So we got to shade 3/8, right? 1, 2, 3.
Shade the bottom strip to show 5/8.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
How do fraction strips help you compare fractions with the same denominator? You can use same size strips like these two and count the number of shaded parts or pieces to see which fraction is greater. Let's count the shaded parts for the top fraction strip. The top strip has 3 shaded parts. Now count the shaded parts for the bottom fraction strip. The bottom strip has 5 shaded parts. Think, which is greater, 3 or 5?
We already know that.
5 is greater than 3. So 5/8 is greater than 3/8 because 5/8 has more pieces. A number line can also help you compare fractions with the same denominator. You can see how far from 0 each fraction is. Drag 3/8 to the correct point on the number line.
Well, where would this go? Right here. 1, 2, 3. 3/8.
Now drag 5/8 to the number line.
Well, I don't need to start here because I know this is 3/8, so 4, 5.
Now you can compare the points along the number line. 3/8 is to the left of 5/8. 3/8 is closer to 0/8 or 0. 5/8 is to the right of 3/8. 5/8 is closer to 8/8 or 1. Now click the boxes to complete the number sentence.
Well, 3/8 is less than 5/8, and 5/8 is greater than
3/8 is less than 5/8, and 5/8 is greater than 3/8. So the ribbon that is 5/8 of a yard is longer.
Correct.
Click the correct point on the number line to place a point at 2/6.
where is 2/6? Bing.
That's right. The point representing 2/6 belongs on the tick mark directly above the label for 2/6. Now, click the point on the number line to place a point at 4/6.
Bing.
That's right. The point representing 4/6 belongs on the tick mark directly above the label for 4/6. What happens as you move to the right along the number line? The fractions increase in size
They're
as
getting
you
bigger.
move to the right because the fraction represents the distance from 0.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, 4/6 is farther from 0 than 2/6. Let's compare the fractions. Select the correct symbol to complete the number sentence.
So 2/6 is less than 4/6.
That's right.
It's smaller.
2/6 is less than 4/6. 2/6 is closer to 0 than 4/6.
Mm-hmm.
That's not it. 2/6 is less than 4/6. 2/6 is closer to 0 than 4/6. Now let's practice with the personal math trainer.
Now this you're going to work on in your book, so I'm not going to go through it, but we will go through it on Wednesday. So I hope you guys are paying attention and doing your best. Bye.